is proud to welcome NAACP President Gwinnett Middlebrooks and Vice President Willie Dumas for their weekly broadcast every Monday from 4 until 5 p.m. on The Glory, 980 AM WDDO. Middle Georgia, no one does it like The Glory, 107.9 FM and 980 AM WDDO. Roscoe's tour buses are moving safely. Do you have a church group, family reunion, or just a Saturday getaway? Roscoe's Tours is waiting to book your travel today. Local and distance trips, clean, reliable buses ready to go. Call Roscoe's Tours today at 404-304-5600. That's 404-304-5600. Roscoe's Tour Buses.
Here at the Dozier Law Firm, we've been fortunate enough to be able to do a lot of our work from home. We are greatly appreciative and thank every one of the essential workers that have been out there on the front lines every day. The Dozier Law Firm, be smart and be careful.
Macon and Middle Georgia. Are you looking for an excellent vehicle for an excellent price, along with an excellent car buying experience? Well, call Nadia Rouse at BMW of Macon, 478-737-1662. That's 478-737-1662. And ask for Nadia Rouse. Nadia is committed to finding you your next new or certified pre-owned BMW. Nadia has access to over 14 Butler Automotive locations to help you find any pre-owned vehicle to suit your needs. She's committed to providing you with an excellent car buying experience. Call Nadia at 478-737-1662. Or simply visit her at BMW of Macon at 4785 Riverside Drive in Macon. Remember to ask Connecting the community through gospel. The new 107.9 FM, W300EB, Macon, and WDDO 980 AM, Perry, Macon. Connecting the community through gospel. The new 107.9 FM, W300EB, Macon, and WDDO 980 AM, Perry, Macon.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
All right. Welcome. Welcome to another edition of Ask Elaine. We're just so happy to have you there. This is your voice, Commissioner Elaine Lucas, and I'm very proud to be your voice, the one who carries your information to the seat of government. And when I find out something, I'm sure going to bring it back. One of the ways that we do that is by sponsoring and supporting this program, Ask Elaine. And we do appreciate your being there and supporting us. Those who are on AM 980, those who are on 107.9 FM, those who are listening and watching us through Facebook Live, The Glory. We are just so happy to have you there. So keep listening. Remind other people that we are here. Remind them to tune in every Wednesday at 3 p.m. for a whole lot of enlightenment, a whole lot of news. And today, our special guest is none other than Reverend Dr. Henry Ficklin. We have been friends for How long?
A lot of years.
Lot of years, lot of years. We've seen an awful lot. We've seen a lot of good changes in Macon. We've seen some things that were not so good, but we continue to try and work on behalf of the citizens of Macon, Bibb County. So we thank you. We both thank you for being there with us. Sharon Talton has already joined us. And we want to thank all those. We love the comments that people share with us in the chat here on The Glory Live. And so we really do appreciate that. If you are interested in supporting this program and keeping us on, we've been on um, about 10 years now. And if you are interested in supporting us and helping us to continue with this program, let us know. But in the meantime, we want you to like and share. We want you to call us if you have a question or a comment that you'd like to make. To ask a question, 478 And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors, and we'd also like to thank all of these fine professional folks here at Historic WDDO who help us to get through this program and keep me from doing hard to the station every week. We do appreciate that. We really do. Welcome, Dr. Fickley.
I'm happy to be here, and I had a mishap last week. I was supposed to be in there
Yeah.
last week, but I'm glad I'm here today.
Well, we're glad to have you. We're glad to have you. Um, we want to, first of all, share some general information because once we get into talking about our topics, we end up running out of time. And I don't want to do that. But the main thing that I want to talk to you about is elections. October 17th is, I believe, the beginning of early voting.
Yes.
And that early voting is going to take place, we know, at the Senior Citizen Center in Carolyn Creighton Park. And then also at the main office of the Board of Elections on Pine Avenue. I think the Theranossery Center is still in under construction.
Yes.
And so we will check and find out if that construction will be finished and if the Theranossery Center, Wimbush, right off Wimbush Road, will also be an early voting site. For those of you who are voting absentee, unless you know exactly what to do and unless you have somebody to assist you and double check your absentee, don't fool with that. Go in early. You will have 3 weeks of early voting. And we are just encouraging people go in, because there's some folks waiting to challenge some folks' votes to continue to try and take your God given right away from you. So let's not let them do that. Let's make sure that we have our act together. We're available to assist you, so you can call us at any time. The folks here at Historic WDDO have said that they are giving out information on voting on rides. Senator Lucas is going to be providing rides all 3 weeks of early voting, along with different organizations. So there is no excuse. This is probably the most important elections that we will have had in a long, long time. And it is going to determine whether we survive. Whether we survive.
Exactly.
And so want to welcome Sherry Shannon Miller, who has joined us. Ricky Crawford has joined us. Good evening to you. And we want to send condolences to you and your family in the loss of your brother. The Middle Georgia Association of Clergy Women, that's Overseer Mabel Randall.
Yes.
She is on. I got it this week, Overseer. Sharon Talton, we've already said that we welcome her here. My sister Nita is on with us. So we just want to thank you. And Mr. Cotton, who is retired from Macon Bibb government. He does some excellent writings, and we want to hear more from him. And we'd like for him to call in sometime. We'd love to hear from him. So, thank you all so much for tuning in. Now, what we want to tell you is your communities. These are your communities. These are your votes, and your votes translate into our voices. You should always be the one to pick the folks who represent you, not the other way around. Like some people have picked themselves and said, I am your representative. That's not the way that it goes. You pick the people who are going to work and operate in your best interests. And I know Maria Bryant with the NAACP will agree. She has joined us on the Glory Live. You can do some things to make your community a better place. You could fight for fair districts. This thing on redistricting is not totally over. It might look bleak and dim right now, but if you stop fighting, then I mean you accept what has happened. But you can fight, continue the fight. You can testify at public hearings if there are meetings going on. You can attend those and testify. You can become involved. You can, if you don't want to speak in person, you can submit written
That's right.
information. I remember way back, you used to present
Oh,
written
yes.
things and still are presenting written information and documentation. And a lot of times, federal agencies like
Yeah.
to have written documents. So if you're better at writing it down, go ahead and do it. If you need some help as to how to get it to the right people, we're here to help you as always. And then Maria Bryant as well. And Gwen West Brooks with the NAACP. Pastor Lisa and Dr. Butler
Oh,
are
yeah.
always available. Your senator is always available to assist you in whatever. Um, we can assist in mapping our communities as we did with the redrawing of the lines for the county commission. We worked with that and we were able to get the lines drawn so that they better represented.
Yes.
Now, I can't say that about water board or school board. Those didn't have the input that the county districts had. You can demand equity, transparency, and districts that include our voices. I do believe that eventually a lot of this evil, a lot of these unfair laws that have been put in place, I do believe some of those are going to be struck down.
Yeah, I think so too.
And it is happening in some places, and I believe there more and more of it will happen. But we've got to have people who are willing to stand up, not call me or call you, Dr. Ficklin, and say, here's the problem, and then hand it over to us. I'm one, you're one. Together we can get some things done. You wonder why you don't get as much done for your community
That's
as
right.
other people. It's because you don't call
Mm-hmm.
and demand. Talk a little bit about how people
It,
just sit back and accept and fuss about stuff
well,
when they could make a difference.
it's very obvious that the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Yeah, that's an old saying,
Right.
and of course, we've seen that on various areas in our city and in Macon. Uh, One of the things that's going on now is that two women who grew up in Unionville asked the mayor to write a letter to the region commission because they wanted to have a strategic plan for Unionville. And the mayor wrote the letter for them. And of course, we've had the first strategic planning. The regional commission has come over, and there's going to be another one on September the 22nd
Mm-hmm.
at Center Hill Baptist Church,
Mm-hmm.
where Reverend Dexter Jordan is the pastor.
Right.
And these are the kinds of things that change things in Unionville and change things all over Macon. So they're going to be drawing up a strategic plan, and we don't know that there's ever been a strategic plan for
I don't
Unionville.
recall, not in all the
Yes,
years we've
that's
been. There have
exactly
been little tidbits of
done here and
things.
done there, but
Yeah.
they want a complete plan for Unionville. And so far, it's going good. It's because these two women, Gloria King and Phyllis Lane,
Uh
stood up
huh.
and said, we want to do something about our
Uh
community.
huh.
And this is the way things like that happen. And so a lot of people have bought into it. The very first meeting was very good. The West Side neighbors bought into it. So we're looking forward to doing that in Unionville, and hopefully other communities will ask that they have strategic plans for their community. It's a good time to do it
It
because
surely
now we
is.
have the plan that the planning and zoning are pulling together, and I think next month they have to present it to the uh, community affairs of the state,
Right. Right.
so that and now is a good time to plug that in,
That's
so
right.
that that will be a part of it. So as Ms. Lucas has just already pointed out, that it's the people who have to say we want something to happen
Right.
in our community. Let's
Right.
not wait until somebody is in a dire situation, like somebody gets shot or killed or what
Yeah.
have you,
Yeah.
and we can jump up for a little while. Dr. King said we're 10-day
10
people,
days.
and
And
10
then
days
after
we're,
that,
it's over with.
on to
So
something else.
we need to continue to be alert in our community about street paving, about street cleaning, grass cutting,
Hmm.
all of these kinds of things. They speak well of the community. And we have an administration in place now who's trying to answer the kinds of things that
Well,
people have been complaining about over the years.
we have a caller, Mr. Larry G. Mr. G, are you on the line? Mr. G, caller?
Hello?
Yes, Mr.
Hello?
G. Yes, we hear you.
Hello?
Yes, Mr. G, we hear you.
Yes.
If you'll go ahead
Hello?
and put your
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
G, can you hear
Hey, Miss
us?
Lucas.
Yes, we hear
The
you. Go
question is,
ahead.
we got some mail here in Warner Robins, a lady. Are you think you're gonna be running for mayor in Macon, Georgia? And
Who
I'd
me?
love to see that.
Who me? Oh, you're saying that the trend toward having mayors
We got some mail here in Warner Robins, a lady. You think you're gonna be running for mayor in Macon, Georgia? And I'd
uh,
love to see
I,
that.
well, I am flattered. I do appreciate it. You never say never, but as of this time, I am trying to complete projects that we have had that we've tried to push through for a number of years. And that is my goal right now, to try and make sure that those projects are done. And so far, we've had wonderful cooperation from this administration. And we have been able to get a timeline in place for the completion of the projects. That's my number one goal. After, in 2.5 years, when I'm no longer on the commission, then that's another time. That's a time for any kind of discussion about anything else. But right now, my commitment is to complete this term as the District 3 commissioner, to try and get as much done as I possibly can, and to, because you have one vote, and so, having one vote, you got to pull together other folks to help to support your projects. And then you have to be willing to support what they would like to have done. So I appreciate people who are, they really honor me by, first of all, supporting me all of these years as I've run for office. And I hope I've been able to get some things done. And I hope that you think I've represented you well. But what we've got to do now is to join together and to demand and request the things that we need for our community. It does not matter who you supported for an office. After the election is over, you've got what you've got. And so, what you've got to do is to ask yourself what's important now. Is it important just to fuss about it? We all have the right to express ourselves on whatever we want to. Everybody has that right. And I've always done that and still do. But you've also got to look at whether you want to get some stuff done. And with all the money that's floating around, all of our money, it's in the hands of this administration. And what we need to be doing is requesting through proposals and other means and service requests all of the things that we know we need in our community, because you waste time if you do it any other way. So that's my response, and thank you, Mr. G, for your call. Please, if you have a comment or a question, call us or put it in the chat, and we will be glad to share it with our listeners. Dr. Ficklin, did you have something you wanted to add to that?
No, I just think that what Mr. G is saying is good. That we can look at various people to run for the mayorship, and that there's some diversity in 8 years. We could look at somebody else, but right now we have a wonderful mayor in Lester Miller. He's done a great job. He's doing some things that have never been done before in the black community. I was just reading about the situation over in Hancock County where this past week Mr. Crump was there, and I did not know that the candidate for governor, Stacey Abrams, was going to be there as well, and she did appear. And one of her main thrusts in her speech was about mental health situations with police officers, what have you. I said she's right on time, and she's following up what Mayor Miller has already done. And we know that he has put in lots of money to address mental health in our community. Mental health matters. So she's right down the same line, understanding that a lot of situations where people are called out because someone is having a mental health crisis and they send the police out there, the police is not really who should be out there. Should be
Right.
someone out there who
Right.
understands what these people are going through, and maybe we can save some lives and some other kinds of conditions. So that is one of the things that he has done, and I was so happy to hear that Stacey Abrams also proposes to do some of the same thing, making sure that we have counselors, mental health counselors to help people. And we see them on the streets all the time. One of the reasons that we have so much homelessness is because of mental health. So these are some things that we have to address. We know that a lot of it is in our communities, and we just have to realize that this is something that has to happen.
And I totally agree with that. And I want to say one more time, we can't just fuss about what we don't like. We have to be a part of providing a solution. And if there are resources available, we need to, instead of saying they're not going to do this, they're not going to do that, request what you're entitled to, because the monies that are being used to fund local government, state government, and national government, it's all of our money.
I see,
It's our money.
I see what Mr. Patrick Davis has sent in a
Yeah.
question asking about who the mayor will endorse. I can say this to you, Mr. Davis, is that, the mayor has to speak for himself. I speak for myself. He speaks for himself. But I can tell you that he has had Senator Warner in Macon several times, entertained him, carried him out to dinner, and some of those kinds of things. So I don't know who he'll endorse. I don't know that he'll endorse anyone. He's never done it before. But that's a question that you'll have to ask him when you see him.
Okay. And That is, and we may get to a point where we will have a forum where we can get some answers to those kinds of questions. What I want to know right now is, um, what's his name? Herschel, what's his name? Walker.
Walker.
I want to know if he and Senator Warnock will be having a debate, because Warnock is the one who's run. Walker is the one who's running against Warnock. And what I want to see is his butt up there on the firing line answering the same questions that Senator Warnock. I predict that he's going to try and avoid as much as he possibly can, because he knows he's ill equipped to be a senator. And so let's not fall for what the senator calls the okey doke, whatever that means. Don't fall for these tricks. Sure, I guess we liked seeing Herschel run, but that was football. And these folks made plenty of money off of him, and I bet you he didn't get a fraction of what he should, just like they do all black, a lot of black athletes who are used to raise money, who are used to raise the profile of the school. They don't graduate, as Herschel did not graduate. I don't care how many times he says it. He did not graduate. He certainly wasn't valedictorian of anything other than Trumpism. He's good at that. Trumpism. Don't be fooled. I don't care how much you like to see him run or whatever. We've got lots and lots of good heroes that we can emulate, that we can honor and respect. But when someone, I don't care how many times they ran a football or how much enjoyment we got right now, he supports a man who's in favor of taking away our voting rights. He is supportive of a man who could care less about black and brown folks. And the last time I looked, Herschel Walker was black or brown. He was one of those.
Yes.
He was somewhere there. So let's not be fooled. Let's vote. Let's vote. Let's vote. And then when the time comes for us to make a decision about folks who are going to run for whatever, you have the right to do whatever you would like to do. Mr. Cotton says, a runoff is not between the hedges for Herschel Walker. Yeah, yeah.
And I like Miss Reverend Watson. She put in that the mayor has spread available resources all over the city very well, and she saluted him for doing some of the things that have not been done. And resources are placed in our community, and people can benefit from the resources that he spread out over the community.
That's right. That's right. And Pastor says, Walker, who can't debate the Rev, that would be a joke. Walker is ignorant as crapola. The Reverend is intelligent and inspiring. Yes, he is. And I have a surprise. We have been told that Reverend Dr. Warnock may be a future guest
Oh, that would be great.
here on Ask Elaine, and also the governor to be Stacey, Attorney Stacey Abrams, may be a future guest. So y'all need to stay right there on Ask Elaine. You
Amen.
need to be right here every week, because you never know. And we do know, we have it confirmed that Congressman Sanford Bishop will be a guest as well. Okay. We're going to excuse Dr. Ficklin raised his hand. He's got. We want to thank all of you who have tuned in to Ask Elaine. Thank you so very much for tuning in today. Since you're listening to Ask Elaine, you know that it's Wednesday. You know it's between 3 and 4. We are so happy to have you there, and we want to express our condolences to those families who have lost relatives, to the Crawford family, to all of those folks. And we want to express our congratulations to the ministers who have celebrated anniversaries, pastors' anniversaries, pastors' appreciation. All of those folks are well deserving of that. Our call in number is 478 250 1444. We want to say hello to Steve Bryant, who calls us each week, who tunes in from Virginia. He is a Pleasant Hill native, someone who grew up in Pleasant Hill, and he calls in and checks in with us each week. And we are just, we're so happy to have him. Our call in number is 478 250 1444, and we welcome you to call in. Now, I have some more information for you. In our office, we have these cards, and these cards have a picture of all of the different candidates who are running statewide. Has pictures of those who are running for United States Senate, those who are running for governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, secretary of state. We have all of these cards. We have another card that we will make available to you, and you could take copies to your church or your civic group, your fraternity, sorority, your Masonic group, Order of Eastern Star, whatever. And it is a sheet, a card that has pictures of all of the congressional candidates over the entire state, because we've got Congressman Sanford Bishop, who is in a contested race with a Republican for District 2. We also have in Congressional District 8, Austin Scott, the Republican, is being challenged by
Mr.
uh,
Butler.
Butler, I believe it's
Dr. Butler.
Dr. Butler. And isn't he a minister? A
I think
minister
that
or
he's
professor or something? Anyway, we have these cards that you can pick up, however many you need. And it has not only all of the races that are big that you will be able to vote on statewide and locally. It will have a picture. It has a picture of these folks, and you're able to see them. I believe you used to do those
we did
kinds
it
of,
every year. We would
yeah,
put out
yeah, and had
a list with all the pictures on it so that people
right,
would know who they are voting for and would know, uh, you know, what the people stand for by
right,
putting them in a certain party. And of course, this is wonderful. I saw another one that Miss Abrams had put out. It was similar to the one that we did because it was, vertical rather than
yeah, yeah,
it was vertical rather than
vertical.
horizontal.
Uh-huh.
And I thought it was a really good thing to put out
Well,
because
we're
people
going
need
to
to
try
know.
and get as much of that kind of information and have it available to you. And if you've been designated by your pastor in your church as a social and political action person, then you need to see us and get this material and hand it out. This information that we're talking about is being distributed by the Coalition for the People's
Agenda,
Agenda.
yes.
That's Dr. Lowry's organization. That's the one that he founded, and Ms. Helen Butler, who's going to be on the show in the coming weeks.
Oh, yes.
She is head of that organization now, and they have a local arm, a local office here. And so we're going to get that information and make it available to you. Pastor Lisa says that we continue to support the Honorable Congressman Sanford Bishop, who has served well. He served almost 30 years, I believe. And he not only takes care of the Black folks in the district, but he takes care of all the farmers,
that's right.
in the district. And the base, Robbins Air Force Base, has been carved into his district. He's got more, I believe, of Macon Bibb. This time he had almost all of it before.
Yes, he did.
He has some more of it. And so we just want to get this information out to you. We want to, for those who are listening on AM or FM, thank you so much for tuning in to Ask Elaine. Our special guest this week is Reverend Dr. Henry Ficklin, who is not only a pastor, he's a retired educator, and he is also the executive director of community affairs for Macon Bibb County. And so he provides so much information and support and resources to so many people in this community. It takes somebody with that background, being an elected official. He was on the city council for what, 30
30
years?
years, yes.
30 years. So he has a wealth of experience in all areas. And one other thing I want to mention, if you will tell the young folks about the opportunity that they have to become a part of the youth leadership
Yeah,
group.
that's called GCAPS, which is Georgia Civic Awareness Program for students. And of course, we have an application out now. I think all the schools have an application. And if you're out there and you want to become a part of the GCAPS and talk with someone who has been a part of the GCAPS, they'll tell you what an exciting opportunity it is to learn about government, to have hands-on experience in certain kinds of things. And we've just been able to introduce these children to so many wonderful things, and
Mhm.
some of them want to come back a second year, even if they've been through the program because it's
Yeah.
just that type of a program. So uh, September the 16th is the deadline at 5 o'clock for getting your application in, and we encourage everyone who would want to be a part of that, want to know more about government, to go ahead and get your application in. Go to your principal, go to your counselor, and ask them for an application to GCAPS. That's the short version of this, to
Right.
GCAPS. And of course, we'll be happy to have you. We're going to go over the applications and select a class for GCAP for the 22-23 school year. And hopefully you can be in it. And of course, I do promise you that it will be exciting and you'll learn a whole lot about government. And
Yeah.
hopefully you'll want to come and work for government, or run for an office one day,
Yes.
with
Yes.
that kind of background.
Okay. Do we have the caller on the line? Hello. Welcome to Ask
Hello?
Elaine. Miss Gibson.
Hello?
Yes, Miss Gibson.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Welcome to Ask Elaine.
Uh, okay, I'm trying to find out. I live over here in the Fort Hill area, and
Yes,
I
ma'am.
live at Hunt Village. And I'm just so disgusted that we can't get in touch with the city department. The lady told me I had to call at 7:30 in the morning to catch them. I can't get anybody on the phone. What happened to the city workers that's supposed to cut the grass and stuff going down Gray Highway? You can see the middle lane just rolled up with grass, and a lot of people still trying to walk to get where they're going. So can you tell me what happened to the city workers that's supposed to be cutting over here on the east side? Have they just given up on the east side of, as far as cutting grass and stuff?
No,
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 no.
they had given up, and it's nothing happened to the workers that's supposed to be working on the east side. If you noticed, for the last 2 or 3 weeks, we've really had a lot
A
of
lot of rain.
rain, and of course the vegetation is all over. But if you'll give me a call in the morning, Miss Gibson, and you can call me at four seven
Uh-huh.
eight 300 6736. Let me say that again: 478-300-6736. And I'll make sure that I have that address for you.
Okay.
Well, I've been
And,
trying to address it for a while, and I haven't been able to get in touch with anybody.
You hadn't
And
called,
the one
call,
lady that
call,
told
and
me,
have not called me either.
call that number, and we'll answer that.
We
okay,
regularly place Gray Highway on the list. I think I bug them at City Hall all the time because I regularly um, place Gray Highway, the cutting of the grass, which by the way is a state road,
Mhm.
and which means we have to go through some extra stuff. It is a state responsibility, but I think locally we've undertaken doing it
Doing something.
because people do use that as a way to walk to Walmart. A number of people
Yeah.
and a lot of apartments in that area. Um, you will be pleased to know that that is turned in um, consistently. That Clinton Road, where the young lady was run over
Mhm.
and killed. And by the way, that project is ongoing to get more lighting and also to get sidewalks in that area. So there's a lot of work that's going on, but I want all of you to understand that Macon is a big place. And while I'm turning in requests for service, it is still raining.
Mhm.
The sun, we still at one time we had 100-degree temperatures
Temperature
for forever and ever. People can't work in that kind of
and
heat.
vegetation just
And
loves a lot of
vegetation
sunlight
grows.
and a lot
It
of rain,
grows.
and it's been happening all over. And of
Right.
course, we've had. She talked about Miss Lucas talked about Clinton Road. We've had some complaints from out there, but we've taken care of those. And everywhere someone calls in with a complaint about the grass, we try to get on it as soon as we possibly
Yeah.
can, because we don't want you to think that at any time that we are not concerned about your
No.
concerns in your
No.
community.
And I do hope that nobody thinks that, because we all nine of us who are on the commission are regularly sending in service requests. And so if you add up all those that you get from, if I turn in 7 or 8 at one time, the other 8 commissioners are also turning in 7 or 8, and that is probably each day. And so, with a limited crew of folks and limited access to the number of days to work, it gets to be a problem. We are not making excuses. I'm simply explaining to you why. Sometimes it may seem like everything that could be done is not being done, but that is not the case. All of the commissioners turn in work orders or service requests on a regular basis. But if there is something that is an emergency, it has to take precedent. That's why, Dr. Ficklin, there are a lot of people who ask, well, I called in to the police and I didn't get
A
anybody
response.
out. If there is somebody who walks along your street at night and you look at your monitor and you see that person and you make a call, and at the same time there is a robbery going on or an accident with injuries, then where do you think the police are going to go first? That's just the way it is. There are sometimes it's not through negligence. It's not that anybody's putting anything
It's just the
ahead
highest
of you. It is
highest
the priority.
priority. And then
Yeah.
another thing, as you brought up about the police, we have sheriff deputies in Bibb County, is that we need to encourage, and that's one of the things that the GCAPS will be trying to do, encourage our young people to want to work in law enforcement.
Right.
We have some wonderful young people who are walking around. Some of them say they don't have a job, they're not looking for a job, but you ask them, why don't you apply to be a Bibb County deputy? They don't want to do that work. Why? Uh, that is a honorable job. It is a job that pays well, and they can also help their community.
Right.
So we ask that you encourage young people before they get out there and get involved in some things that they don't need to be involved in, to just consider becoming a part of the law enforcement agency
Right.
here. We have a wonderful sheriff who has put an appeal out there asking young people to come and become a part of this team. And of course, when I was growing up, we didn't have that out there, that you could become a law enforcement officer. But now it's just really a wonderful thing that young people, they finish high school, they don't even have to go to college. They can get their education in law enforcement, and it is a very great education,
Right.
and they can move on to other areas of law enforcement. So we want to encourage young people not only to get involved in GCAPS, but get involved in doing something to improve your own community.
Right.
And of course, that is a great way to do it by becoming a part of the law enforcement agency.
All right. So Pastor Lisa knows Mama Kitchen Gibson. Okay. Mr. Cotton, who is retired from Macon Bibb, says all over Macon Bibb County, and it's an insult to me for all the years that I had to keep it up. He's talking about the growth of grass and shrubbery and all of that. Back in my day, we had to get it done, even if it was on Saturdays and overtime. I'm going to tell you, we do have folks working Saturdays and overtime, but Macon, Georgia is a big, big place. And the numbers of customer service requests that we have just really flood in, especially since there's a focus now on doing what citizens need to have done. And we really want to thank Mr. Cotton. He knew my dad. He knew my dad really well. We have another caller, Ms. Carswell. Ms. Carswell, are you there? Ms.
Yes,
Carswell, we're sorry to keep you holding, but we were trying to get in those points and explain to people why the service requests aren't done. It's not about what side of town you live on. It is about the amount of work and the low numbers of employees that we have in those different departments. But Ms. Carswell, did you have a question or a comment?
Yeah, I had a comment. I was you when you spoke. I was calling in to ask your opinion, and you answered everything. I was calling my staff for Bishop
Oh,
because
yeah.
I got a remote call for his conference the other night.
Yesterday evening. Yeah, I was on that call.
And yes, and I had never heard him. And I was gonna ask your opinion. And you and I
Oh,
said I got to call President Lucas and I said she knows she's not president.
you're
I
going
said
to
I got to
hear.
call President Lucas and ask him,
Yes, ma'am. Thank you
is
so
he the
much.
man? And you told me he the man.
Sanford
Yeah.
Bishop, he will be on your ballot more than likely. There are a few people in Macon
Yes, yes.
County
I
who
wasn't the one that came to my phone.
but we'll be voting
Eh,
in the second. And if you know folks in Warner Robins, he has a large portion of the Warner Robins area as well. So does Senator Lucas. Senator Lucas has more of Warner Robins as well. And this redistricting really there was an attempt to try and defeat, put some people in the district to try and defeat the senator as well as the congressman, Congressman Bishop. But what we can do is to go vote and
That's
take
right.
everybody
That's
that
right.
we know
That's
to
right.
to vote. We got to
That's
make
right.
sure they do it and don't accept no for an answer. Make
That's
sure that
right.
either you take them or they take you or that you get to vote. If you pick 10 people, make you a
Uh,
list and make you a list and then check with them and make sure that they have plans to vote, and then
okay.
during early voting, make sure that they execute that plan. Make sure they
All
go
right.
vote early. Go with
I
you.
got
Call us.
That's
We
right.
will help to get them there. Senator is going to be doing rides to vote those 3 weeks of early voting. So they can
Okay.
talk, they can ride with the senator and talk with him.
Mhm.
Dr. Ficklin probably is going to be out there too. We will all be out
Okay.
there. Sherry Shannon Miller will be out there. And
Maria
Maria
Bryant.
Maria Bryant is always there. Gwinnett Westbrooks, all of these folks are out there to help you, but you got to make that one step.
That's
Patrick,
right.
thank you so much thank you very much for
Thank
your call. We appreciate it, and we're so glad to have
I
you there.
I appreciate you keeping us informed and and letting us know, what's going on out here.
Yes, ma'am.
And I appreciate it because I know who to call. President Luke, she gonna put me on the right line. She gonna put me in the right direction.
Bless your heart. Bless your heart. Early voting begins October 17th. We got to vote, vote, vote. Mr. Cotton says it was a deputy superintendent. He was on salary. You didn't get paid overtime, but you better believe the grass cutting guys, you made sure you are a different kind of
Right,
employee.
exactly.
You are an exemplary. I'm not saying the others are not now, but you are an exemplary employee. Everywhere you've worked, you've always been. My daddy told me you were when y'all were doing the cement mixer stuff together. And you made sure that things got done. I mean, things change, but I can tell you this. When I turn in service requests, they get handled. That's all I can say. So I'm not going to jump up and down and fuss with somebody if they're getting done what I ask them to do on behalf of my citizens. So
And
that's
she'll tell you that that hadn't always happened.
that's right. That's right. It hadn't always happened. We've been working on Jeffersonville Road for 30 years. And we're just now getting to a point where we can see the end of the line for Jeffersonville Road, and they're going to go in and do the landscaping and all of the final touches on that very soon. And people will be able to say, well, this is something my tax money has done, but it's just now being finished. So well, anyway,
And
Maria says to make sure that you check your voting status to make sure you're registered so you won't be surprised on election day. The notices that some people were going to be dropped were sent to people, and the envelopes aren't any kind of special envelopes. They
mhm.
really should be a bright red or something like that, as a way to alert people that this is something that you really need to take care of.
I see Mr. Cotton
But
says that it looks good over on Jeffersonville Road, and we've had some complaints about it already.
yeah, the
Uh,
grass
the grass
growing up,
growing up,
but
but we're handling that,
they're working on
and
it.
they're working on it. Yes, indeed. Because there's some other things that it hadn't been turned over to the city yet. That's one of the things about Jeffersonville Road that once the state comes in and does a road, they have to turn it over to us, and that road has
Right.
not been turned over to us yet, and that may be the reason that we have some
Because the
grass.
state's
The
not
state, they're
getting
not
to it.
finished
Yeah.
yet, and so when
Yeah.
they turn it over to us, then it'll be our
But
responsibility.
you got to be a little bit patient. And I know you say I've been
Yeah,
patient so long, and
yeah.
I know that. But you got to be a little bit patient because there's a whole lot going on that we don't see.
Mhm.
Like people were wondering why it took so long to get a certain phase done. Well, they had to go down under the street and move things, and they had to be careful of the creek
Mhm.
that went through. They had to go and check for the little animals and stuff and make sure that we were not uh, taking any habitat
That's
for the beavers and all of that stuff. I'm serious, folks. You got to look out for the beavers. You got to look out for any other animals that may make their home
and these
in
are
or
state
around
regulations and laws that they
state
have to
and
be
federal
guided by. I
regulations.
see that
Yeah.
Lisa did point out, and I keep on calling her Lisa because she was my student,
Pastor Watson.
Pastor
Yeah.
Watson, that they are going. The EMA is going to have a forum
Yes.
in October.
Yeah.
If she'll give us that date and place, I know they may not have decided it yet, but we do want to make sure that that is known to the public. I do want to also add in today, Miss Lucas, while I'm uh, talking, that there's a young lady by the name of Tamisha Price, and she go by the name of Coco. She has for several years been having in Central City Park what is called a lupus walk, and of course
Hmm.
it's going to be September the 17th, which is next Saturday, and it starts at 10 a.m. The mayor is issuing her a proclamation as he did last year, and she would certainly love for some people to come down and help her with this particular walk. Lupus is a dreadful disease that's crippling a lot of people,
Right.
and she has been on the forefront of doing this. And so that's Coco Price at the Lupus Walk is September the 17th. And of course, she really would appreciate people coming down to Calvin Creighton Park and helping her on the 17th at 10 a.m. With her Lupus Walk.
That would be great. And we will add that to the chat at some point. If she is there listening, if she could add those specifics, or we will. later on. And for those who are looking for opportunities for community service, like the students who attend EL High School Academy, who are required to complete a certain number of community service hours, this would be an ideal way of getting additional community service hours by participating in these different walks for particular things. So, do we have another caller? Is there another caller on the line? Caller, are you there? Did we lose that caller? I guess I
Right.
talked
But
too
October the
long.
22nd is going to be a busy Saturday in Macon. The NAACP is having their annual uh, Earl
Earl Shin
Shinholster
Hoster. Uh-huh.
banquet, and of course, the mayor administration has always supported it at the platinum level, and he's going to do it again this year. So we want to make sure that we get that out into the public to know that the Earl Shinholster
Freedom
Freedom Fund
Banquet.
banquet is going to be October the 22nd, as well as what we were supposed to be here talking about last week, and that is the
Yeah.
age friendly
Yeah.
council is going to be celebrating 10 years in, uh, I guess, in the world for Macon being the first
That's right.
national city to be recognized as an age friendly city. And that's going to be at Tatton Square Park from 11 to 2 p.m. And we want all ages to come out and celebrate. There are going to be a lot of activities for you to do, and a lot of kinds of things for you to receive information about. And hopefully we'll be able to have a bus over there so people can just get on it and go and vote while they're there.
Oh, that
I
is
think that
great.
is the Saturday that voting is going to be on. So there's a lot happening on October the 22nd. So just
Thank
mark
you,
your
Pastor
calendar.
Lisa, for putting
Yeah.
that information on there.
Yes, indeed.
On the chat for us. But there's a lot going on, and we're going to share as we talk about these different events. We're going to place them in the chat so that you can look at the comments and then notate on your calendar these different things that you'd like to participate in. Um, Mayor Joyce Denson from
Oh,
Toomsboro was on here about 3 weeks ago. And she says that they're having an Alzheimer's educational walk fundraiser in Toomsboro Saturday, September 17th
okay.
at the Toomsboro City Park. She is doing some
Oh,
wonderful
that's
things
my friend, and
there. She is great.
she's doing a wonderful job down there as mayor. We certainly support her.
And she says, please come out and support the Alzheimer's organization. Join the walk. And we will put that information there as well so that you can participate in that if you like. We want to thank all of you for tuning in today. We just have a few more minutes here, according to our engineer. We see we always run out of time. Y'all, September the 20th is National Voter Registration Day, and we want you to participate in that. The newest edition of the Middle Georgia Informer is out, and so we want you to make sure that you get a copy of this.
And
They make them available at all the churches,
yes,
and EL High
and
School
one of
has a
the
bunch
highlights
of them.
of that issue is the Walk Away initiative
Yes,
that Herbert and Nord has started with Changing Mindsets Incorporated, and to prevent violence. It's a part of the Macon Violence Prevention Initiative. And what he is saying is just walk away.
just walk away.
And it has
Keep
been going.
talking. You can keep talking if you want to,
Mhm.
but you don't have to end up killing
Killing-
somebody or getting
Exactly.
killed. Walk away from something.
It's a great initiative, and it's receiving a lot of
It
support.
surely is.
Just trying to get into our young people's mind, just to tell them to walk away from certain
Just
things.
walk
And
away.
that's the same thing that the mayor has been pushing with Macon violence prevention. Anything we can do to prevent violence from occurring, we need to do that. When you say stop the killing, that's something that's good, but the killing is in process. But to prevent is to keep it from ever getting to that point.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I appreciate Mr. Denard for having that initiative. Just walk away, and I did want to say that as the time gets down, I had a call this morning where a young lady called and she wanted to know about the pickleball courts that are going in at the mall,
Yeah.
and she wanted to know was there going to be any tennis out there. And I did find out that you can convert a tennis court into a pickleball court, but you
Right.
can't convert a pickleball court into a tennis
Right.
court.
It's a
And
different,
and she
little
was saying that
different.
that's going to be with all the things that are going on with Serena Williams and her final
Yeah.
goal, and there's going to be a lot of emphasis, especially perhaps in the Black community, on tennis now more so than ever because we have all these heroes that we've
Yeah.
never had
Yeah.
before. And then we got little Coco, I can't think of her last name.
Coco Golf.
Coco Golf, and then we
Mhm.
have the young man Francis Tiafoe.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
playing right
Yeah.
now, so I want to hurry up and get and see what he's doing.
Okay. But I want to let you know that Macon has so many beautiful tennis courts.
Yes,
We have 2 tennis facilities. We have one that is the in North Macon behind the Theranossery Park.
and
Wonderful.
And then we
Your
have-
money went to update
in
that. And
South
then
Macon,
South Bev
and
Rec
then
Center.
out at the lake, out at
You're
at
right.
the park.
They
There's
put
some
some
beautiful
out
tennis
there.
courts out
So y'all need to get out and look around at all of the
there.
stuff
Wonderful
that
things
you're
that are
paying,
going on.
that you are paying for. And if you see that there's some other things that need to be put in place, call. Don't just sit and fuss about it. Call somebody. Ask them if it's possible. Come to City Hall and address the commission and request that this be looked at. And it will be looked at. But you can't just sit and not do anything. You can't just sit and not vote. So y'all start getting ready for October 17th when early voting starts.
We need to pack the
We
place the
need to
first day.
pack the polls. Those 3 weeks, we need to pack the polls. Dr. Ficklin, thank you so much
Thank you
for
for having
tuning
me
in.
on.
And we're going to have you back again really soon because we didn't touch half of the things that are going on. So y'all take part in government. Let people know what you want. Don't just fuss about it. Do something about it. Be a part of it.
We have a new administration that's doing a great job at
Do
trying
something.
to answer the call that has been in our community over
Thank
the
you
years.
so much. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you again next Wednesday for another edition of Ask Elaine.
Connecting the community through gospel. The new 107.9 FM, W300EB, Macon, and WDDO 980 AM, Perry.